What's going on, YouTube? Darksword255 here, where the numbers may be randomly generated, but the content itself is not. And I wanted to showcase a team that's very, very accessible for, really any player who's been playing the game for a while, to conquer the Shogun dungeon. Now, getting to the point that you can start farming Shogun as well as Sand Devil, that is a super important milestone that everybody should be trying to strive for, because getting to stage 25, you have the ability to re-roll, ascend all of your gear, making them that much more powerful and boosting your stats and your damage, your healing, your resistances, whatever you really need. But these potions that you get, super important. The dust is really important. You don't get the dust anywhere else other than tournaments, like other than stage 25. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to showcase the team that I use, and I'll give you guys a bunch of different supplemental champions that you can use. To become part of my team, click the link in the description right now to get Elenaril for free, as well as 3 more amazing epic champions as you level up. Here's how you do it. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall it. Click the link in the description, register with a brand new email, launch raid, and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on this chance to get a free Elenaril along with 3 epics as you progress through raid. Click on my link right now and let's get started. All right, guys, so this right here is the team. They can all be supplemented other than Gnarlhorn. Gnarlhorn you can change out with Toph, I think that's his name, because how the mechanics of the dungeon work is the boss, if you weak hit on the boss, it stacks up the damage and the boss can then go ahead and one-shot you. So Gnarlhorn and Toph are the only champions so far in the game that their A1 cannot weak hit. So he's really the only champion that you need to make this team run. Now, just like I said, so how it works is we go into the battle, and I'll showcase it also. We go into the battle, Gnarlhorn goes first, Paragon puts unkillable on Gnarlhorn because the boss is going to focus the first person. You have 2 damage and a cleanser. Now, like I said, all of these champions other than Toph can be changed out. There's an all rare team that a lot of people go. I like using Mithrala here because she's a free cleanser, right? Like, she's a free cleanser that you get. So it's again, it's really easy. I think it takes about a minute to run this battle. And like I said, I'm going to show you the team that I also use. This is the team I use for a long time, but I'll also showcase, guys, the faster team that I have. See, and there we go. Then we need Mithrala to cleanse. And the timings are super important for the cleanser, because if she's too fast or too slow, you're not going to be able to cleanse. So once you get this team built and you're climbing, you're gonna have to hand use this team, because this team is tuned for stage 25. What will happen is on the lower stages, you will not heal fast. Like it's out of sync. Your cleanser will be out of sync. But I really like using rares in this team, primarily because you're not utilizing like a better champions, like legendary champions, like in this build. Like you don't have to prioritize them. You can build, Cold Heart for this, and then you have a bunch of champions. You build one time, you put them in the vault, and then you have a lot more freedom within the game. All right, so this run is almost over. Cold Heart, boom, boom, boom. Super, like I said, basically a full rare team. Basically, super accessible. So let's go ahead, guys. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the stats that you are going to need. All right, so first what we'll do is we'll look at Gnarlhorn. It's really important, if you have the opportunity to get him ascended, definitely do that. You want him to have the highest crit rate on your team, because the boss will focus the person with the highest crit rate. Sorry, not crit rate, crit damage. So I have my Gnarlhorn unbelievable like crit damage, right? So he is guaranteed to hit. You can get away with having like 50 HP, 50k HP. I feel that it's a lot safer to have 60k plus on Gnarlhorn. The speed is also super important. I think it's like between 185 to 186 speed for Gnarlhorn. Like that time, like this speed is super close. Now, the second most important champion that is going to be your cleanser. And so, like I said, I'm using Mithrala here. The cleanse the feeble. She needs to be fast. And I mean, relatively fast. I mean, 200, almost 300 speed isn't really considered fast in the game anymore, but 280 speed minimum for whoever your cleanser is going to be. Whoever your cleanser is going to be needs to be at 280. I think it's 280 to 285. That speed gap. Then you can use somebody who drops unkillable. I'm using Paragon, and Paragon speed isn't too crazy. I mean, 177 speed. I mean, and just, you know, you build him tanky enough to not get one shot by the boss, right? Nothing too crazy. I think you needed him to be between 175 to 180, but I would just go with what I have right here is 177 speed. And like, I just have just like whatever gear on him. He has masteries because I wanted to do some really cheese stuff in Siege with him, but you know, this is him right now. And then I went with Cold Heart for damage. Both the Cold Hearts need to be around 250 to 260 speed, around that. Obviously, the more damage you can build them, obviously the better. This Cold Heart's actually built a little bit under. She needs about 70% because her A3, which is the most important damage ability, gives you 30% crit rate. So you can build Cold Heart with 70% crit rate. Then obviously, like I said, make sure that your crit damage is not higher than Gnarlhorn, right? You want Gnarlhorn to have the highest crit damage, or if that's not the case, other people on your team will be targeted and killed by the boss. So both Cold Hearts, one of my Cold Heart is 253 and one is 254. Like, you know, one slightly faster than another. A pretty simple team. And we're gonna go ahead, guys, and we're gonna jump into the tuning of the speed, like the team setup right here. So Gnarlhorn is your lead. You're turning everything off. It's A1, A2. Your damage, you want them to be prioritizing the damage. It doesn't, like for Cold Heart, since I'm using Cold Heart, I want her to obviously prioritize her Heartseeker for both of them. So that's what I have turned on. Mithrala, you're going to have her do her A1 first. We're going to turn off her Hex because there adds no value. And we want her to be cleansing. And, you know, they need to be on a 3-turn cooldown for the cleanser. You know, again, these champions can all be changed out with other champions, right? Like I said, I'm going to show you the team that I use because it's faster than this team. And then Paragon, which I'm hiding Paragon. Turn off his A2. You want him to always be focusing on placing the unkillable. He'll always place the unkillable on the lowest HP person, which will be Gnarlhorn. Now, this is the team that I have been using to be a little bit faster. Now, I changed out my my Cold Heart for Lady Mikage and Ninja. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, the speeds aren't crazy. Like, you don't need this, like the speeds for the damage can be all over the place. The most important speed tune is Gnarlhorn, Paragon, and your cleanser, which is my Mithrala. Now, this is the team that I've been using, and it's just faster. You can change out with, like, if you have a Marius, this will be faster with Marius. You can use Ganute, but he's I think Ganute's a weak affinity to this, so he's gonna weak hit a lot, which is not great, but you know, it is what it is. And then Mithrala is going to cleanse the buffs. There we go, the debuffs. And look at that. So we just want to make sure that this counter isn't going up, which as long as you cleanse the enfeeble on everybody, it won't stack. And Gnarlhorn again will not ever weak hit, so he will have that protected unfeeble, and so it doesn't matter. So like a pretty fast team. The fastest I've been able to run this team is 36 seconds. If I had a Marius instead of Ninja, this team would be faster. But it's an unbelievably accessible team here, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Like I said, super easy to build, and especially with clan versus clan, personal clan versus clan, you get a ton of points doing Shogun. So this is a good time to like build your characters, start farming Shogun, and you'll be able to ascend your accessories. So if you found this video helpful, guys, let me know down in the comments, leave a like on the video, and I'll see everybody in the next one.